This is a massive change to scales we've never seen in the wilderness before. This is bigger than the bounty hunter removal. This is bigger than Rev Cave change. This is the biggest change to RuneScape PvP since pre-AOC, and I think it should not be taken lightly. New wilderness changes June 24th. It's currently 11:05 in the morning here in central Pennsylvania. I stayed up all night. I had a horrible migraine. I've been up for like 16 hours. I don't even know how long, actually. Longer than that. Anyways, I was staying up for this wilderness change blog. It didn't come out. I went to bed. As soon as I went to bed, I turned on Twitch and saw West Ham reading it. So this is my initial gut reaction. I'm going to read this, and I'll tell you guys what I think. I might just skip around a little bit to get to the points that I want to talk about. I might not read everything exactly. We'll address the main big changes and how I feel about them. General wilderness changes. The main issues we're addressing today are long-standing and largely related to balancing. Many of the changes are outlined here and also intended to benefit those who engage with the activities listed the most. As such, the content offered in this blog will not be pulled. So none of this is getting pulled. It's just going to be implemented. This approach is similar. Okay. This is just the results of the polls. I'm not going to spend too much time over this. Skull tricking. Jesus Christ. Alrighty. Skull tricking takes various different forms, but ultimately the end goal is the same: to trick an unsuspecting victim into attacking another player, causing them to become skulled. This puts the victim in a position where they are risking much more than they had intended. Only bring one item if you don't want to risk more than you intend. In our survey, 68% of respondents reported that skull tricking is a big problem. They don't fight back in the wilderness, and almost 70% of all respondents believe skull tricking is a big problem. This is not something we can simply ignore. Easiest way to prevent is to turn off your attack options and disable auto-retaliate. Literally, just do that and you will never skull. Turn your options off and disable auto-retaliate if you're that scared of skulling. However, by deterring players from fighting back, is PvP even combat anymore? It's easy to see by the... Okay, see, that statement is so stupid to me. Is PvP even combat anymore? Yeah, it's still combat, but the wilderness isn't about a fair fight all the time. The wilderness is kill or be killed, strong kill weak. Okay, so if you're a PVMer, you're the prey. That's just how it is. So we want to make it so players who are not playing to skull can still fight back without falling in a position where they're risking more than they intended. Blah, blah, blah. It's a big change. That's your... Where does it say? Options such as disable attacks that will result in getting skulled. I mean, okay, that's not terrible. That's decent. That's okay, I guess. But I don't think skull tricking is a big problem, bro. It's been around from the inception of the game. It has always been a thing. If you don't want to skull, if you don't want to lose your items, just don't bring them to the wilderness. It's been like that forever. If you're a new PKer and you're just learning to PK, probably shouldn't go PK in ancestral robes with an Ellie. You're probably going to die and lose it. If you're a newbie PVMer and you don't really have much experience dealing with the wilderness and PvP content in RuneScape, don't bring 3 items that you're not willing to lose. That has been the golden rule since 2006. Pretty sure most of us learned that when we were kids. Combat area tricks. The whole wilderness is a PvP area, but some areas limit who you can attack and when. Currently, the region is split as follows. Single-way combat, so an area where only 1-to-1 player monster can attack each other. Singles plus, it's the Rev Caves. You know, players are locked into combat, long PJ timer, much like DMM PvP worlds. And there's multi-way, where anyone can attack anyone. Currently, it's possible to abuse these restrictions in certain situations. Player A and B are fighting in a single-way combat zone. Player C is stood nearby in a multi-way combat zone. Player A is close to dying, but can instantly attack Player C. Player B... Okay, I see what they're saying. They're just saying you can bolt someone in multi if you're in singles plus and switch your focus. It's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. Maybe it will be a big deal, depending on what this is. Singles plus combat and PJ timer. In most parts of the wilderness, players who are attacked by an NPC cannot be attacked by other players. This normally is all well and good, but can cause issues when players run into a field of NPCs and box them, providing protection against PK. Yeah, that's how the wilderness was designed. That's what the Gower brothers intended, I'm guessing, when they made the wilderness. Some of you have also fallen victim to pile jumping or player jumping. Both PJ, i.e. a player might attack you while you're busy collecting loot from a kill, or steam into your fight when your opponent is nearly dead, taking the kill from you and swiping the loot. Yeah, okay, that happens. We're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. We'll be replacing all single-way combat areas in the wilderness with singles plus. We'll be replacing all single... So they're going to make the whole wilderness singles plus, dude. This is literally the one thing that I was the most afraid of. I was praying they would not do this. I pray that this is still open to discussion and that with this video and maybe other outreach from other PKers in the community, they won't fucking do this. Because I think this is what will be the finals. Maybe not right away, but this will ultimately kill the wilderness, I think. This means that PvP will always take priority, so if a player is in a fight with a monster, they can be attacked by another player. Okay, so basically what you're saying here is this principle you said earlier is that players can hit NPCs to box, right? If you make it all singles plus in the whole wilderness, NPCs will no longer in any way be used to help escape teams. And the idea to this is that we're combating singles teams and like making it easier for the prey to get away. If the prey can be focused in Ankus, in Graves, in Fire Giants, in Magebank, in Hellhounds, in Axe Hut, Axe Hut will literally, you won't even bring a lockpick anymore to escape. There's no point, because singles plus will just let you focus them. It doesn't matter. Singles teams will still have a huge advantage. Secondly, we'll be adding a PJ timer. We'll be adding a PJ timer to singles plus combat areas. This means that players have a grace period. They have a grace period. They cannot be attacked by other players if they're still fresh from an encounter. Fresh from an encounter. I'm assuming that means if I'm in combat with you and I freeze you and run around a wall, that encounter is fresh. So there's an extra longer, even longer PJ timer now. So virtually anyone, anytime, no matter how low you are, if you're TB'd or anything, in the wilderness, you can just freeze your opponent, walk around a tree, walk around the wall at Magebank, walk around to Axe Hut, and log out. Anytime, any scenario. Anytime. So basically, the only way anyone dies anymore, Deep Wild, is if they get KO'd. Stupid. Not worth dog shit. J-Mods, if you watch this and you think what I'm saying is offensive, I don't mean it to be offensive towards you. I'm just saying these ideas are bad and stupid. This is not how we revive the wilderness. I don't think. I think all this is going to do is you're going to drive away the core old player base that you have that is currently keeping the wilderness like even active. And you can say what you want about singles teams. You know, they're toxic. Frontline Rod, Solid Tag, Kanini. You know, all these teams are toxic and they fall in on people. It's been like that forever, okay? I don't know why we're changing the core concepts of the wilderness that we've had in the game forever. Since 2006, singles teams have been a problem. They've been more powerful. They're more powerful and they're really OP because of the skill it takes to be in a Discord call with 10 people who know what they're doing to focus a kill, like make sure that you're not getting baited. You know what I mean? You deserve to be more powerful. Your team deserves to do more damage because your team is adding more risk with gear and they have more people. The way you fix it is not by nerfing the wilderness to coddle to everyone else. You need to just make the wilderness more worth going to. The singles teams are a problem because we're all that's left. We're the only people who still play the game and still come out and PK every day. I used to be a range tank account. I did hella PVM. Look up LE14 on the high scores. You can see all my boss KC. I have 55 mil range XP. Basically, I used to be a range tank. I would PVM constantly. I kicked it. I started deep world PKing at like 108 combat. I thought it was the sickest shit ever. I started doing it nonstop. This is like 4 years ago. Went main, got max combat stats. I've literally never went back. Deep wilderness PKing in general is the most rewarding, most fun, most entertaining content this game has to offer. I don't care who you are. I think you just haven't given it a chance yet. The whole idea of RuneScape, to me, what makes it great is that it's an MMO, right? It's a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. The game, to me, isn't great because of its game mechanics and its graphical interface and its skill and unique, diverse boss fighting. It's all just clicking. We're just clicking. Everything you do in the game, you just click. What's fun is playing it with your friends and like getting into goofy situations, high-risk scenarios. Like, you used to die and lose all your shit. You would die and protect 3 items. The wilderness is the only dangerous thing left. It's the only place left in the game where you can go out and the amount of risk you bring with you will ultimately will ultimately affect your ability to make money. You have Arims and max gear, you're going to catch more freezes. You're going to do more DPS, you're going to kill more people. If you die in Arims and max gear, you're going to lose a lot more money. It rewards skilled players. The way you fix that isn't by nerfing it for everyone else and making it easier for everyone else. It's you make the rewards much greater. Make more higher XP rates. Make better GP per hour. GP per hour is the biggest thing. Look at Zulrah. Look at Vorkath. Look at Barrows. Look at Zenite prices. Look at God Wars Dungeon prices. Everything is getting infested by bots. It is insane. There are 1 million worlds for 1 million bot farms to run on 1 million. Go sit at Ferox Enclave Telespot if you don't believe me. Go sit at Ferox Enclave Telespot for 20 minutes and you will see a runecrafting bot, a Barrows bot, a Zulrah bot, a Vorkath bot. They just tele in and gold farm and run and cycle and they drive the price down of all the items. You know why that can't happen? in the wilderness where it's regulated by PvP. If a bot script is running and killing a rev over and over and farming it, a PKer can just kill it and take all the loot. You don't revive the wilderness by making it so group PKers can't do that. And you know what happens when you make, a new rev boss, make it 5 mil per hour, make it good money, make it the best in the game. It's regulated by players. If a PVMer is killing it for loot, more newbie PKers will come and kill them. Smaller teams will kill the shitty PKers. Big teams will kill the shitty teams. That's the wilderness ecosystem. I don't know where we got this idea that that ecosystem doesn't work and it's bad, but it's good. That is what the wilderness thrives on. The wilderness has always been big fish eat little fish. That's just how it works. I'm kind of ranting. Let's keep moving. Loot keys. I don't know anything about this, so back in 2017, we pitched the idea of bringing across the loot key system from Deadman mode via loot key scrolls. These would be a tradable drop from Revenant NPCs found within the Revenant caves, redeemable at Cristelia, the Edgeville Witch. They would give players the ability to toggle loot keys. Okay, that sounds really dope, actually. We think loot keys could help reduce the number of players. See, the thing is, though, why are we adding these if you're going to get a fresh PJ timer after every interaction? Why do you need a loot key when you're... The whole idea of needing the loot key is for inventory space, right? If I drop a Maxer and his squad's there, I don't have to pick it all up in my looting bag and just snatch his key. That's one inv space. If it's a fresh encounter and I drop him, I'll just loot it and log out because I have a massive PJ timer. Like, that's where I think the singles plus PJ timer, it's just so from left field. It doesn't really fix anything. Also, if you're a PVMer trying to escape and it's singles plus, the NPCs won't even box you off. So it doesn't even help. It really doesn't help in that way. This is gonna make it harder for PVMers and skillers to get away. Key, which will only use up one inventory slot. This is a sick idea, but just get rid of the singles plus. They can hold 5 of them at once, after which PvP drops will revert to normal functionality. They can be redeemed at a bank or destroyed. They cannot be banked. Killing another player who has loot keys will assign you their most valuable keys. Okay, that's cool. I fuck with that. That's very cool. I like that a lot. I don't really care about any of these stat changes. This is not that big a deal. The Rev Caves, we're already at like 15 minutes. I'm not going to go into the Revenant Caves in this video. If you guys like this one and want me to do it, like I said, I've been up for like a really long time. I've been up for like 20 hours. I'm going to chop this up in fucking Movavi really quick and paste it on YouTube just so you guys can see my initial thoughts. I think it's very important that we give Jagex feedback on this because this is a massive change to scales we've never seen in the wilderness before. This is bigger than the Bounty Hunter removal. This is bigger than Rev Cave change. This is the biggest change to RuneScape PvP since pre-AOC, and I think it should not be taken lightly. The fact that they're saying it's going to be unpulled is pretty insane to me. But when it comes to PvP updates, you can't really rely on pulls because so much of the community just doesn't understand. All right, how do I sum this up at the end in my own words? At the end of the day, what I think is this is to Aiza and everyone trying to balance it. You're not going to fix the wilderness with one update. You're not going to change the core mechanics. You're not going to update one thing to make it better. The wilderness is like a big fire, all right? It's like a big burning fire, and the players who go into it are what keep it going, okay? You want to stoke that fire? You're not going to do it by changing the whole wilderness and changing the mainframe. You need to add more little things. The shooting star update you added? Great. Excellent. AFK skilling in the wilderness happens only in the wilderness. Well, not only in the wilderness, but the rates are better in the wilderness because there's less people. You can mine Stardust. I think you should make the Stardust tradable or somehow make a way so it's monetizable so that people can make money doing it. But the way you fix it is you add more shit. You add more skilling opportunities. You add more GP. Let me log into the game really quick and pull up a map. You could add a new deep wilderness Slayer cave. This whole area is vacant. There's nothing here. Add the Rev Boss here. Add a new cave entrance that goes under the Mage Arena. Add things that incentivize people to come to the wilderness. Remember when Wildy Slayer was good money? And you could do Wildy Slayer and get Laren's keys and emblems and all kinds of good shit, and it was worth doing, and it was best points. But instead, we removed Bounty Hunter. We let bots run nutty on the game so that Laren key loot isn't even really worth what it used to be. Wildy Slayer is just straight up not worth doing anymore. It's just best points. It should be best points, and it should be really good money. Why? Because the money will not be consistent because you get PK'd and you get interrupted. You need to fuel the fire with more updates. Maybe once a month, you have one or two guys on a dev team who just add little Wildy updates, just little things, not big changes, but just little rejuvenations. Hey, this week, Ice Giants is a hotspot. For every PK you get in Ice Giants, you get a bonus incentive. Or Runite ore XP is doubled, or you get double ore for mining it. You need to just constantly stoke it and do new things, much like we're constantly striving to add new quests and, you know, skilling items and things like that. Recolors. We're just like tacking on tons of endgame content with like cosmetics and hard modes and stuff. When we're neglecting like what made RuneScape great, dude. Like, the wilderness is what makes this game unique. It is one of the only places that still hold true the values of the game, where you can risk what you want in order to do better if you're confident in your skills. And I think singles plus everywhere is going to kill Deep Wild, and it's going to kill the whole rest of the game. I think you're going to drive away the community that still loves it and plays it like they did back in 2008, and you're going to be left with the most dead wilderness we've ever seen. That's pretty much all I have to say about it. If you guys want to hear me do my response to the Revenant caves when I wake up, try and get this video to 500 likes, I guess. Peace.